Welcome, and thank you for joining us in the 5 unspoken rules of professional influence. Welcome. Influence in the workplace is rarely granted. It is not assigned by title, and it is not guaranteed by competence. In most professional environments, influence operates beneath the surface, quietly shaping decisions, perceptions, and outcomes long before anything becomes visible. Some individuals understand this system intuitively. Others spend years relying on logic, effort, and credentials, only to find themselves ignored, overridden, or sidelined. The difference is not intelligence, it is awareness. There are rules, unspoken, rarely acknowledged, that govern who is heard, who is trusted, and who ultimately shapes direction. In this video, we will examine 5 of those rules. Context. Before we examine these rules, it is important to understand something about professional environments. Most organizations are far more complex than they appear on the surface. Decisions are influenced not only by data or logic, but also by perception, reputation, relationships, and timing. A technically correct answer does not always produce the desired outcome. A strong idea may fail if it is introduced at the wrong moment, and a capable professional may be overlooked if their positioning is misaligned with the environment around them. Professional environments are not purely logical systems, they are strategic systems. If you operate only at the surface level, presenting facts, waiting your turn, assuming fairness, you will consistently arrive too late to influence outcomes. Understanding influence requires recognizing the invisible process behind the visible one. Rule 1. Influence begins before the conversation. By the time a discussion formally begins, most positions are already partially formed. Pre-alignment, informal conversations, side discussions, quiet signals is where influence is established. Those who wait for the meeting to present their thinking are reacting. Those who shape perspectives beforehand are leading. For example, a proposal discussed in a meeting is often already supported or quietly rejected before the discussion begins. Influence is rarely exercised in the room. It is secured before entering it. Rule 2. Perception outweighs intent. Intent is internal. Influence is external. Others do not respond to intent. They respond to perception. Competence without visible framing can be overlooked. A well-framed narrative, even if incomplete, can dominate attention. For example, 2 professionals may present the same idea. One is perceived as precise and composed, the other as defensive or reactive. The outcome is rarely determined by the idea alone. Professionals who understand influence manage perception deliberately, not by distorting reality, but by shaping how it is interpreted. Rule 3. Authority is often implied, not given. Formal authority is only one form of power, and often not the most decisive one. Influence frequently emerges from implied authority. Clarity of structure, certainty of tone, and control of framing. When someone speaks as if they are responsible for direction, others often accept that positioning unless it is challenged. For example, a professional who outlines next steps with confidence is often treated as the owner of the initiative, regardless of title. In many environments, authority is not assigned, it is assumed and then reinforced through consistency. Rule 4. Strategic silence is a form of control. Not all influence is expressed through speaking. Silence, when used intentionally, creates pressure, focus, and recalibration. Those who react quickly often reveal their position. Those who pause control the tempo. For example, in a tense discussion, a deliberate pause can shift attention, forcing others to clarify or overextend their position. A well-timed silence can redirect the dynamic of an entire conversation. Influence is not always about adding input. Sometimes it is about withholding it. Rule 5. Alignment drives decisions, not arguments. Decisions are rarely won through argument alone. They are secured through alignment, gradual, often informal convergence of perspectives. If others are not already aligned, even the strongest argument may fail. If alignment exists, even a weak argument can succeed. For example, a proposal that has been quietly supported across stakeholders will often pass with minimal resistance, regardless of how it is presented in the final discussion. Professionals who rely only on logic often lose to those who build alignment early. Influence is not about winning debates. It is about shaping agreement before the debate occurs. Summary. Professional influence is often misunderstood. Many assume that intelligence, expertise, and effort naturally lead to recognition and authority. And while those qualities are important, they are rarely sufficient on their own. Professional environments operate as strategic systems, shaped by perception, timing, positioning, and alignment. These rules reveal a consistent pattern. Influence begins before visibility. It depends on perception more than intent. It often emerges from implied authority rather than formal designation. It is reinforced through restraint, knowing when not to act. And it is secured through alignment, not argument. Taken together, these dynamics change how influence should be approached. It is not reactive, it is constructed. Those who understand this do not wait for opportunities to contribute. They shape the conditions under which their contributions are received. They do not rely on being heard. They ensure that what they say carries weight before it is spoken. Over time, this creates a compounding effect. Their presence becomes associated with direction. Their input becomes expected. Their absence becomes noticeable. This is the transition from participant to influence, not through force, not through visibility alone, but through consistent control of the underlying dynamics. Once you begin to recognize these patterns, professional environments become far more predictable. And with that awareness comes a different kind of advantage: the ability to navigate complexity with clarity, timing, and intent. A call to action. If you are interested in strategic thinking, decision psychology, and professional influence, subscribe to SRR Strategic Intelligence, where we explore the hidden dynamics that shape leadership, strategy, and power in modern professional environments. Because once you begin to understand how these dynamics work, you will start to notice them everywhere, and that awareness alone can change the way you navigate your entire career. If you enjoy this kind of content on strategy, power, psychology, and professional decision-making, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This is SRR Strategic Intelligence. Thank you for watching.